Alrighty, how's it going, everyone? Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Renegade Operative, and today we will be doing a thorough analysis and assessment, a breakdown, and honestly giving our opinions on the Resident Evil Requiem fourth trailer. This is the launch trailer as signified by PlayStation. I believe that we'll probably get one more small snippet, one more small trailer, maybe an accolades trailer combined with the fact that yes, we're gonna have our shiny 9 out of 10 reviews, and we're also gonna have our 8 out of 10s and our fucking 10 out of 10s. We're gonna plaster that in that trailer and also maybe have a pre-release demo for the casuals to try out. Hey, you could download this now on Steam if you want to play it. I don't think we're getting a pre-launch demo at all. They had their chance at State of Play and they didn't do it. They had their chance at the Nintendo Direct, they didn't do it. We're not getting a pre-launch demo. If we do get one in the next week, I will be fucking shocked. I will be surprised, okay? That's like, no, it's not like being, oh, we're expecting DMC6 at the fucking event and it doesn't happen. No, it's not going to be anything like that. But I would be shocked at this point if Capcom releases a demo for this game next week. Anything could happen, miracles could happen. Maybe the road to Requiem will continue on if that demo comes out. But unfortunately, right now, no announcement of a demo. Now, let's get into reacting to the fourth trailer with all the hype and news and the plot elements. Without further delay, let's get this party started.
That's 6 now. 6 survivors of Raccoon City, all dead from the same thing.
We are only 9 seconds into this reaction for the official trailer itself, and we are hit with a giant atom bomb that is enough to destroy Raccoon City itself. 6 survivors of the Raccoon City incident, they are no more. They are bereft of life. They have ceased to be. They are no longer amongst the plane of the living. Who are these 6 survivors? We have no indication or idea outside of Leon giving us this tactical report on what's going on with this unknown disease.
Yeah, that's not good.
Shaking of the hand, it's a immediate foreboding.
Victor
Because you can see, like, of course, everyone knows beforehand, if you watched all the gameplay thus far, you would see that Leon himself is infected with this disease. And you can clearly see the neck with the black marks all over. Mr. Kennedy is running out of time.
just a building after Umbrella went under. The Rhodes Hill Chronic Care Center.
This shot is another form of symbolism, and of course, skulls means death. Leon is walking past it. Hey, he's avoided death before. Maybe it's a bit more personal now. Still, that's a very eerie shot of him just walking by. And the skulls. It's like death is waiting to claim him. This shot seems to be Victor Gideon watching Leon, and there was an oopsie from someone who was covering Resident Evil Requiem news and footage and gameplay and NDA gameplay, which Capcom said, hey, don't leak that because we have a character that we want to reveal, and you guys are leaking that. And there was a hidden cutscene as well with Leon in the hallway giving Grace the Requiem, which is the name for the giant fucking pistol, the big ass fucking gun that Leon and Grace will interchange between each other, between situations. That's what I'm assuming. There might be times where she uses it, there's going to be times where he uses it. I'm expecting that to sort of cross over in gameplay. But within that cutscene, Leon looks down the hallway. He could tell he's being watched. There's Victor Gideon on a fucking, what is it, night vision MVG, just like Metal Gear Solid, the MVGs. He has that on. Leon walks down the hallway, and there's a conversation that takes place with Gideon and Leon. So he's being watched. He's there to obtain him. Obviously, it's a trap. Now let's continue. In this footage, the hag is done. I was like, unless the hag regenerates and still comes after Grace as a stalking enemy, Leon just fucking kills this thing like nothing.
You okay? What does Victor want with you?
I don't know what this is. This area, it looks like a weird sewer, or I know one of my friends said this might be the dead factory. I don't. Maybe.
Victor want with you?
I don't know. It's hard to tell, but there's a lot of viscera, gooey stuff, and just a lot of nastiness in the fucking background. What the fuck is that? Okay, it's just a lot of nasty, gross material right here.
What do you mean?
This looks like an underground prison. And there's still power. I know people said, oh, is that the old Raccoon City undergrounds at this point? But no, there's still power right there, unless they're having a generator moment where, hey, we still need to generate some power here to check out certain areas in Raccoon City. But I think this is entirely different and new. Probably where Gideon held some test subjects, considering you see a guy and he looks like he's still on the ground right here.
He grabbed you for a reason.
This is still Leon and Rhodes Hill, probably finding out the revelation that Grace has daylight in her blood and Victor Gideon wants her, and then there's stuff with Elpis.
Did you find anything on Elpis?
We got some gameplay. Clearly at this point he doesn't know what Elpis is.
Not yet.
See the blonde woman? Oh shit, yeah, that's not Hunnigan. Hey Hunnigan, without your glasses, you look pretty cute. No, that's not her. But this says top secret. They're obviously trying to crack what Elpis is, and we don't know. Now this screen right here from Rose Hill Chronic Care, you can see that there's text on this, and it was deciphered. And I have this in my Google Doc right here as I was looking up, certain words of what this is with some of the symptoms and whatnot. This is a outline document of what the person is looking at on screen, and it says report on the Raccoon City syndrome. This is a new disease caused by countless it's caused by being in the area and just being around countless BOWs or contaminated waste or maybe water. It probably touched your skin or something like that. And I was of the impression, and with many other people, I was under the impression that, hey, you get bitten or scratched, that's it. But within canon, Leon, Claire, Raccoon City survivors, they were not canonically bitten or scratched. Instead, this seems like an airborne sort of T virus exposure, or maybe coming into contact with certain materials that zombies probably rummaged and rolled all over. Who knows? But this is a long-term latent effect, and it says this report outlines the current research on latent onset T virus syndrome, henceforth referred to as Raccoon City syndrome. Raccoon City syndrome occurs when residual T virus within the body mutates over a prolonged period of time. I have yet to find an effective treatment, and when it manifests, the results are fatal. Raccoon City syndrome appears to develop through the following stages. Stage 0, dormant. So it seems like these people that were in Raccoon City, these survivors, manifested this when they were around certain creatures, maybe fighting certain BOWs. all this fucking T virus everywhere, which we're gonna get into with Jill's report, which is a very good find from people. But we have stage 0, dormant. The virus lies temporarily dormant within the host due to the presence of specific antibodies. As the virus is not completely suppressed, it begins to build an immunity to the antibodies over time. Stage 1 activation. The virus becomes active and black. Bruise like marks begin to appear on parts of the body. Mild symptoms include things such as general maltask and coughing will occur. So maltest means, general discomfort, uneasiness, or a lack of well-being, often the first sign of an infection or other disease. I hope I'm saying that right. Stage 2 development. The black marks spread further across the body, coupled with numbness in affected areas, and the marks will extend to the internal organs, sometimes leading to hematemesis. And that seems to be the, dangerous symptom of vomiting blood, the condition where someone bleeds internally, which is pretty bad to have this. Okay, so it starts getting worse. I heard people say that Leon is currently at stage 2. The black marks are on his neck and on his hands. Then stage 3 is terminal. The black marks darken and spread across the entire body. Severe pain and intense fatigue make moving difficult. Vomiting of blood becomes uncontrollable, so that means that you will continue to vomit blood no matter what. It doesn't matter, you will keep throwing up blood immediately. Patients at the terminal stage typically die within 1 to 2 hours. I believe someone in this game is going to reach terminal. Whether it's Leon, I have no idea, but Grace still could pass him that cure and be like, look, with that daylights, I got you, bro. I got you, fam. Which is why she's probably vital to this game as well. Discovering her history, discovering her some possible experiments, which we're going to touch upon soon in a bit. But this is the Raccoon City syndrome. And I put a note here that said 6 survivors has indeed perished due to the virus, but we relatively don't know who they are. Much like plot lines similar to putting BOWs on the black market to continue the franchise with Resident Evil 5 and to do multiple time jumps as evidence in Resident Evil Village, and with the 4 momentum timeline of survivors getting older. I think that it's a no-brainer that Capcom made this plot element to enhance intrigue and to carry it into future Resident Evil games, side projects, and DLC with the Raccoon City Syndrome and older survivors possibly also almost dying, right? Because it's a no-brainer that this is something that's a forward continuation, but I don't know how fatal it's going to get, and who else is just fucking dead in the ground. I think that you have to take into consideration that when you say Raccoon City survivors, there's multiple people that survive Raccoon City that we know of that are established main characters. Then you have the Outbreak characters that indeed survived, and they were around all that T virus and shit, inhaling all that in. And then there are random civilians that also survived the incident. There were people that were escorted out in trucks. There were people that were probably on the city, escorted to the outskirts. Some people saved by the military. We saw that in Resident Evil Outbreak. That might be 6 randoms. My hope is that that's 6 randoms, but I have a feeling they're going to sneak in another Outbreak person that's maybe not capable of fighting anymore. Someone really old, like maybe the security guard that was in Outbreak. Maybe he's fucking dead, right? And then I go all the way down, and I marked the people who are probably at risk, and some other interesting notes. Obviously, Leon S. Kennedy, high risk. Claire Redfield, also in the shits of Raccoon City, in the middle of the affairs. she would also be high risk because she was like there neck and neck with Leon. Carlos Oliveira. He was there fighting a lot of BOWs, fighting Nemesis like all night. Ada Wong. She was there. She was all fucked up as well, all bruised, rolling around in the sewers, everything. Sherry Birkin. Now, this one is an interesting one with Sherry. We're gonna talk about her a little bit later, though. Nikolai Ganef, the silver-haired fox, probably has some of that Raccoon City syndrome. Kevin Ryman, Mark Wilkins, George Hamilton, David King, Alyssa Ashcroft, Yoko Suzuki, Cindy Lennox, and Jim Chapman. Basically, all the Outbreak survivors that we know of probably have some of that syndrome. The ones at lower risks, in my personal opinion, and I marked these two down because it makes the most sense, is Hunk. Now, the USS seemed prepared of what was kind of going on, right? Even though one idiot caused the entire affair to be blown out of proportion when he shot Birkin, but Hunk had a mask on. I'm sure that's going to factor into it. The guy had a gas mask on. He might have been knocked out for a while, but I think he's at medium to lower risk because he had the mask. So maybe that could have protected him. I don't know, and I don't suspect we will hear of Hunk ever again. Same for Nikolai, but I think Hunk is probably a little bit better off with that mask than Nikolai is. Jill Valentine, now this one's an interesting one. Not only was she infected with T, she also has T antibodies, as far as I know, because she got the vaccine. Then they flushed Jill's body again. I know Wesker was interested in seeing, oh, she has these antibodies. It's very cool. I want to continue to experiment on Jill Valentine. And then she had her body flushed because we heard and saw the notes in Revelations 2. She was in quarantine for the longest time. At that point, if you're in quarantine for years, they have to plot excuse that not only does Jill have these T antibody immunities, but also she was in there a long time. Maybe there's early signs of them catching the Raccoon City syndrome, and thus they flushed it out, right? And in the background, you don't have to worry about her, or maybe they just got rid of it, or they caught wind fast and said, all the T is out of your system. You can leave now. I think she's at low risk because of all of that, and she's probably not like infected with it whatsoever. If she is, I would be honestly shocked, but at this point, I'm just gonna make a good estimation that they flushed it out of her body, and her antibodies, with combating T a lot, probably defended her from it. But if she is infected, that would be an interesting plot point as well. I just don't know where they're gonna go with it. I would prefer maybe they could keep Jill around a little longer and actually put her in a game. If there's any other game they could have put her in, is this one. And I put an unknown question mark here for if the syndrome, if just the T virus syndrome in general, extends to anyone that was a part of the mansion incident as a surviving member. And that would be Chris Redfield, Rebecca Chambers, and Barry Burton. And I'm wondering, are they affected by it? But I put a note that in Shadows of Rose, significant time has gone past. They jumped into the 2030s, and Chris still seems to be around in some capacity. Like he's still around. We didn't see him, but we know of his existence. We're gonna mark him as alive, but currently, as I said, Raccoon City itself was a bigger petri dish for the T virus, which is true. Personally speaking, I think this plot point is kind of strange. It was a little bit strange and out there. But if you want to absolutely make something that's threatening, menacing, it gets the player to think about what other survivors could be affected. A Nightmare for the Living, Requiem for the Dead. This is certainly a way to tie into that theme hardcore that they were talking about, saying that Requiem's going to really mean something all across the board for Grace, for Leon, for everybody involved with the Raccoon City incident, which is symbolic of what this game means. But personally, I think there should be more people involved from the Raccoon City incident, and maybe they are hiding a lot of them. I think Ada needs to be in this game in some capacity because that would make thematic and emotional sense. They already said things that are kind of weird. I don't have those interviews pulled up, but they said something to the effect of Nakanishi himself. He said he wanted to explore Leon and Ada's private relationship and what that means and what that entails. And Leon apparently is not single in this game. That probably means they're gonna. You know, what I would do is the emotional stakes are there. Ada could also be very, very infected with this, and Leon is trying his best to find a cure. That could work emotionally. Like, everybody's pretty much on the line here. But if you're trying to, get a cure for your girlfriend, I would figure that, yeah, the race against time, determination, willpower, all that other stuff, you gotta truck through, man, because all these people are at risk.
Nothing on the servers of the CIA or the Pentagon.
So we see another variant. That guy looks like Colonel Sanders. he does, though. I mean, yeah, he looks like Colonel Sanders. It's a doctor variant that looks equivalent to the Butcher, big and burly, except he's carrying around, it looks like a machete.
Or the Pentagon.
It really does. And Grace headshots him. Here's Leon with a sniper rifle. We saw a snippet, and this is the only thing I think I really have to show from the Nintendo Direct Partner Showcase outside of this guy just missing every bullet. Them obviously cutting the camera and not showing any gore because Nintendo Conference, they can't have all this for the kiddies.
He can fire from
Purposely missing shots.
a distance
With
using
no headshots, I'm just gonna aim at the walls. That's my real target.
handguns and
But this section, this is the section that we have here, which I personally believe people said, oh, that's Raccoon City. Everything's on fire. No, this is not Raccoon City. What's going down is that Rose Hill is probably going to be a long, extended segment between Grace and Leon. And I think this is the culmination of the end of the Rose Hill segment. Someone said, and they made a good catch here, that Leon is sniping to defend Grace all the way on the far right. And Grace is trying to get in this door, and you have to defend her with the sniper rifle.
and rifles.
And this guy's gonna miss and hit the broadside of a barn and a car. Okay, so that goes back into this sequence.
You
And this is where Grace has to go into. She's getting flooded and attacked by zombies.
are
This is the Blister Head, which is this game's fucking Crimson Head. It's definitely, it doesn't look the same. This thing looks like a raging flaming Cheeto ball sack, but just that's what it looks like, bro. But still, if you leave zombies around to mutate, I know Grace has a blood injector which she can use to blow zombies up, and I believe if you don't get a headshot in those segments, if you decide to run away from certain downed zombies and you don't clean up your mess as Grace, they could come back to haunt Leon and you have to put them down for good. I would imagine Blister Heads, Crimson Heads, they're going to have the same functionality, which is stronger zombie variants. Maybe they could do something to damage you a little bit further and they are persistent. Maybe they run. It's probably not good to keep these guys around considering how they look and what they could do.
the
Oh yeah, it looks like he was running a little bit there. He was definitely, he's a runner. He's a runner, boys. Oh my, it looks like a liquor, low key. Are you guys kind of like seeing that? Oh my god, that's disgusting. I don't know if the red face looks like his face is a little bit red from damage. Maybe Leon shot him, but then there's a running kick. I don't know. This startup animation kind of reminds me a little bit of Jake Mueller when he charges up, and then he runs, and then he smacks the person with his fist. But this time it's a flying kick, which I like.
Leon, we're running out of time.
And this is Leon showing the glove. His hand is very, very much mutilated, like scars. Look at this. The affection is starting to take hold. The black marks, as we can see. Stage 2 is probably the point in this affection where he is at, and it's not looking good. Do I think Leon will die in this game? Probably not. Probably not. I'm thinking from the perspective of money, right? And if you're going to retire him, I look at it in two ways. If you're going to retire the character here, you have to go back into the gaps of the timeline and utilize the character wherever possible and see what he was doing there. Because if you retire him in mainline, it's only a matter of time to think about what they're going to do with all the other veterans in this Raccoon City syndrome business. Like I said, they made this plot point to keep you second guessing, thinking, and being like, oh shit, what's going to happen to my other favorites? Or maybe they're alright considering the things that happen to them. So it's a thing of they want you to think like this. They want to move the series forward. They want you to have this intrigue, and I'm all down for it. Honestly, if it's done in a manner that isn't, I want to say stupid, is it stupid or just super nonsense? I mean, Resident Evil is B movie cheese nonsense at times, but I think Capcom just doesn't have. I don't think they have it in them to kill a veteran. All the times they could have killed a veteran before, they didn't do it then. Leon, Chris was very obvious with RE6, and they didn't kill him. They decided to kill Pierce Nivens. And I don't think they have the cojones. They don't have the will to do it. I would be shocked if they did, and if they did it in a very meaningful and emotional way. Again, they killed off Ethan Winters, and I thought that death was something that made me choked up when, especially seeing the little mind consciousness aftermath and Shadows of Rose, where Ethan is talking to Rose and they have that conversation, and he loves his daughter. It's very heartfelt. If they do something like that, I'm gonna be a fucking sobbing baby, man. I don't know. So, but yeah, I don't think they will. But this is clearly showing he's running out of time.
Why me?
The team has settled on a person of interest.
I know someone pointed this out. Yeah, this is the same gas station that Leon went to in RE2 Remake. When he went in there, he was out of gas and he ran into the cop, stole the cop's car. His Jeep is still right there, which is a nice attention to detail. I don't know. Well, I was kind of thinking to myself, maybe the skeleton on the ground is the trucker. No, it's not the trucker. The trucker driving to the city. He drove into the city, so maybe that's like a random zombie. They got clapped somewhere. I'm not quite sure, but his Jeep still being there is a great attention to detail that people pointed out, and that's cool. It's like, oh shit, they remember that. I assume the whole city segment is going to be that. Is going to be this treasure trove of memories and fucked up shit underground that possibly mutated itself into oblivion.
A former T-virus researcher.
You get that Gideon is a researcher on the T-virus, which is why in the hidden NDA dialogue, he taunts Leon about Elpis and what it does, and would he like to figure out what's going on with his condition, because I personally believe that Gideon himself is also infected with Raccoon City syndrome, or some form of it, and he managed to work on his body and stabilize it because he has all these wounds this large scar running down his chest, and his teeth has all fallen out. And part of this virus, it seems, because we saw in one trailer a zombie had his teeth fall out into his hands. Part of this virus is the teeth falls out, but it wasn't outlined in the report. I'm thinking to myself, yeah, he has it and he fixed himself, but it's temporary. It's not enough, which is why grace is the key of freeing Elpis.
Because my master made you.
In this case, we discover that, of course, in Resident Evil affairs, there's always another person at top, there's always a person at the bottom that might be evil, but somebody at top that's unseen. Gideon has a master. And he said, "My master made you," when referring to Grace. I'm not sure if it's a thing of saying that Grace is a clone, because that could be a possibility. Maybe his master took her blood and decided to make multiple clones or variations of Grace, or maybe he's saying it's all interconnected due to the daylight within the blood, but apparently someone is pulling his strings and Grace has a close connection to it in some form. My master made you. Is she some orphan baby that was part of a Wesker project that was later saved by Alyssa and she adopted the last name? I don't know. Like, anything is possible. It's not like Resident Evil, they haven't done child experimentation before and clones before. Therefore, I would not keep that theory off the record books. But that's an interesting line regardless. And from the research gathered, people are assuming that the guy is male. Whoever is the master of Victor Gideon. I can't confirm this myself, but apparently the subtitles on Capcom's Arabic channel imply that Victor is addressing a man when he says, "Because my master made you who you are." And there was a preceding comment that said, "Hey, the Arabic subtitles were right the last time this happened. Get away from her," being aimed towards a man, and we now know that scene was shot from first person POV while playing as Leon. This is referring to let's see if I can find that scene in particular, but I know it's in the first trailer where there's a guy on the ground bleeding out and he says, "Stay away from her," and there's like these small whisks of Grace's hair, and we know that Grace and Leon has moments where they are together, obviously. Um, and there's a government. He looks like a government official, a suit on the ground, saying, "Stay away from her," which is probably them trying to extract this little girl, either from the end of Rose Hill or either from Raccoon City itself.
Who you are.
And there's the little girl. Her name is Emily. Say hello to Emily. Let's see if I can find other tweet. This is a good theory. I like this theory very much. It's not mine. Shout outs to this person. But they said, "I have this theory that the monsters we've seen in RE9 so far are children like Emily. Failed experiments that transformed into horrible, unrecognizable creatures. You have Emily with the weird milky eyes and the emaciation hair and the white hair, and she has some traits, almost like she looks like a young Grace, which is strange. Then you have the hag, which people have been saying is Alyssa Ashcroft, but turned into this as a test subject and possibly regenerated after Leon shot her. That's a theory. And then you have Chunk, which is another experiment, and you could see the milky eyes, but the fucked up body. This is probably a male child test subject that basically was rejected by this virus that Gideon and his master did to someone. It's fucked up. Okay, that's some fucked up shit. It's fucked up that we're going into the deep dark tones, but it's what Resident Evil is known for, clearly. We had the orphanage back in RE2 that was wasted potential, but that was a breeding ground to experiment with kids in that remake. So maybe they will harken back a little bit. It would be cool to go to the orphanage and find more shit out, right? Because it was so short lived in remake 2. That would be amazing to go back and see that area. That would be cool, actually. And it is in Raccoon City. Everyone's gone, as the child says in the first trailer. Uh I just, these are fascinating, and you'll see more of these children as we go along with the trailer, actually. This is Leon on the streets of Renwood, and there's an outbreak. People are getting eaten. It seems like you can save civilians?
The city was where.
Yeah, he saved that guy by shooting the person. I am going to assume achievement here. You save everybody, you get an achievement.
Raccoon City was where it all began for me.
Boom. An image of the craters of Raccoon City and where the bombs dropped. This is a blister head being injected with the blood injector, which will kill an enemy once you sneak up on them and inject it, and they'll just blow apart.
I'm coming with you.
Boom.
We can talk.
This is the cutscene where Leon talks to Gideon after seeing him in the hallway. Okay, now this part is going to be a series of events. Personally, to me, because this is a very, very, very fast cutscene, I wonder if I could slow it down to... Fuck! Can I slow it down to a crawl? I don't know if I can. Yeah, playback speed. 25%. Oh no, it's not gonna do that. With you guys hearing that, hell no. I don't know why, but this looks like the labs, the beginning of Resident Evil 3 remake with the cutscene where they're experimenting on Nemesis. I don't know if that was the case, if that was what they were going for, or maybe another sector. But it's just that kinda is what that reminds me of. Umbrella logos. This is interesting. I am going to say this is probably another nest somewhere. And then we have this revelation right here. There's a bunch of children seemingly looking at someone. Mostly all of them look bald. If you look closer, it seems like there's incisions on the head and the brain, because you see there's like a straight black line, so it looks like their heads have been opened up. What my friend said as a theory is he believes that this signifies the Wesker Children projects never really ceased after the first slew of Weskers like died, right? And there was a phase to the program that was supposed to be initiated. And I'm gonna pull this up for you guys right here. Let me pause it. I found it. It says right here that the affection was done in various ways. This is Project W. Either through manipulation of the candidate's friends or by taking advantage of a medical checkup. This phase saw the deaths of 11 of the final candidates, with only Albert Wesker and Alex Wesker surviving. Albert got his superhuman powers, and then Alex possessed none due to suffering from a terminal degenerative disease at the time of infection. Though Alex was confident that infecting the washouts would increase their numbers, this was not acted upon. Are they going back to washouts who possibly survived? Did they have this pale skin? I don't know, but the red eyes is telling, and the only one I think that had red eyes in the series is Wesker and the dude he infected in the Ouroboros chair that had red eyes. otherwise, it's very fucking strange to see these children looking just like this. And it was also some stuff with Emily as well and the E virus. Now, probably the reason why she is a child here, right here, is because of another line that I ran across, and it was this: maybe Emily is the EO2, or maybe she's another type of E. And again, I think they could work in mold as the key to maybe solving a few problems with regeneration. But it says that, this was created through infecting a human embryo with mold, a fungus or fungoid organism developed by the connections. All products of this kind were envisioned as taking the form of a 10-year-old girl or 10-year-old girls to enable them to blend in rather than have the E-type grow over a period of 10 years. Genetic alterations were apparently made to invoke rapid aging to reach this state in months, aging at the rates of some 24 times the normal human rate. Two side effects of this product were that BOWs require periodic medication to halt the aging process, and that rapid aging caused mental deterioration and madness in the subject, making them more dangerous. Could she be an E-type? And this is why she is a child. We will definitely find out, but it's Nakanishi, and he is the one who was the progenitor of the mold to begin with, and the E-type, and bringing in the connections. So I think anything's possible at this rate. Same for the Wesker children. That would be cool. I always thought it was kind of dumb to just have them all killed off in the first phase, only two survive, and there is no other attempts at something like this, because for all intents and purposes, Wesker was the greatest BOW project in a way. He was the one that has superhuman powers and very, very, very little flaws. So let's continue. We see this looks like a laboratory core, almost like it's about to explode. This is very interesting. I heard a theory that people believe that this is BSA soldiers doing a raid, or maybe they are entering some facility and doing an infiltration. This seems to be a giant umbrella door opening to me personally, like, or some sort of, maybe it's some way to make a viral sample, or some way to make a vaccine. Maybe that's the way to make daylight. But yeah, it could be a revolving door, a little incubation vaccine maker. It could be anything. Let's keep going. And that's the flashbacks done. Continue on with regular speed. Cut that.
I don't.
There's Resident Evil's version of a bloater. Here's Leon throwing an axe. I don't know if it's because the enemy threw it and he caught it, but you can lob that bitch back. Bam. As I said, this is probably the end of the Rose Hill segment once everything starts to catch on fire, and it makes sense that if you go to the Nintendo segment, you see there's flames everywhere already outside. And so this is not Raccoon City, this is Rose Hill. And it's the end segment of Rose Hill.
I don't want any more.
Boom. That does look like a bloater, but obvious Resident Evil gamey style weak points all over it. Clearly.
More regrets.
It looks like a blister head right next to it too, right there. Yeah.
Regrets. Whatever it takes, count me in.
I love Grace's tenacity. This is Grace firing at the hag. The hag is back in some form, unless they made multiple hags. Either the possibility is they made multiple hags, or this hag regenerated from having his brains blown out. It can only be one or the other. Look at this fucking title drop. Look at this dude. Look at that. Just because of that, instant like. Look at this one. It's so good. It's so good. Let's do that one more time.
Takes count me
I
in.
also love Grace's tenacity. You know, whatever it takes, count me in. These are lines that Leon himself echoed. You know, whatever it takes, count me in. When he was talking to Ada in RE2 Remake, parallels, similes. We got it all here. So good. This part is chills. The decayed ruins of Raccoon City, where all life stopped. Leon is back yet again, and it's somber, it's sad, because of all the shit he had to go through. This is the beginning, and this could be the beginning of the end.
It's been a while since you've been back there.
Look at this. Nah, come the fuck on. You can't fucking tell me that's not Sherry Birkin. You can't tell me that's not her. No way in hell. Yeah, they deliberately planted this in here, the blonde hair and everything. But it goes back to what I said before about Sherry Birkin. I think the reason why I said Sherry Birkin was high risk was simply because G antibodies and all the other stuff and how she regenerates, that might not do fuck all to the T-virus stuff that's going on with her as well, with this whole Raccoon City syndrome. And like I said, she has a glove. One of the lines she tells Leon is, Leon, we are running out of time. Word we was used. It's not Leon, you're running out of time. Leon, we are running out of time. Securing the fact that this is not only happening to possibly just Leon, her, a lot of other people. You can see the glove. I believe she has it, like, thoroughly, 100%. Some guy made a good theory that they might have written around things and affected Jill too. The virus lies temporarily dormant within the host due to the presence of specific antibodies. As the virus is not completely suppressed, it begins to build an immunity to antibodies over time. So even if you started to think about Jill being in low risk, maybe she moves up to medium risk. Before you even think about Jill and Sherry and their capabilities, it says it begins to build an immunity to antibodies over time, maybe to regeneration. But again, I still would put Jill in that lower tier area because they flushed her body again, whereas Sherry, I don't think they did any of that. If anything, they were conducting experiments on Sherry, and that might have like did some shit or made it worse. You never know. So let's continue, and this is where the chills start. It could be like nobody is safe, man. Leon goes to the RPD in this part.
Yeah.
You can see the fear in his eyes. Just, this is where it all started, man. I love the psychological torment that you can see on a character's face when they go to an old haunt, or it's revealed that this is an old haunt. This is the beginning. It's cool stuff. It's like the fucking MGS4 of Resident Evil. I like this. I like this a lot. When Snake went back to Shadow Moses, I'm kind of glad they did this idea because I'm just gonna be reminiscing. I remember playing RE2 all the way back in the day on the PS1, just being absolutely floored by what that game accomplished in terms of a really just true zombie survival horror experience. And with Requiem, I just want all my wishes solved and all my shit answered. It was a cool thing that Jill also said as well about the T virus. And I like this too. I like this too. Where it's like, was Jill onto something with the T virus possibly being airborne? Then the T virus. Those infected by this virus seem to become literal zombies. It appears to be communicable via several different avenues outlined below. Fight from an infected individual, allowing the mixing of bodily fluids, contact with crows, which have eaten infected Karen. Due to the strength of the virus, airborne infection cannot be discounted. And I know there was a reporter rambling about the idea of is the virus airborne or not. So if they're making this Raccoon City syndrome thing, it's definitely some airborne shit going on. Just it lays dormant, and then over time, you get fucked if it's a big petri dish. And it's like, could they do this with any other virus? You know how long these heroes have been fighting BOWs for almost like fucking 30 years now. So look at what's going on. It's absolutely insane. It's just absolutely crazy. So that is currently my breakdown. There's some people still thinking that the antibodies probably, remained, and she was cured with the vaccine and all this other stuff. And could she be the key? I think they're gonna go with the whole Elpis unlocking and Grace Ashcroft and her blood needing to be the key to unlock this, because again, Daylight is probably stronger to eliminate it. Who knows? Maybe Jill could come in as an NPC. They did say that there's going to be NPCs and characters and some reveals of certain characters from the RE series still within this game. I don't believe that Leon is just going to get help from Shuri and that's it. There's going to be probably several more cameos, but they said not to the effect of an Avengers level crossover. You're not going to see Chris and Leon doing gun kata all over the place, right? You're gonna reasonably see maybe like a side character help them out. Maybe a Raccoon City survivor being there. Claire also is another big contender that has it as well. Is she on my list? I swear I put her on my list. Yeah, she's on the list. Yeah, so I'm just making that, I'm reiterating that just so you guys will know. So I think that's it for that. And there was some gameplay that I missed out on. I'm gonna kind of go over that a little bit. Probably not as like, this part's not gonna be super long. I'll skim through. This is Leon about to fight Chonk. See how long this Rose Hill level is? Like, you get like a pump action shotgun. He's a chunky motherfucker. That's what he is. Chunk can barely also fit through some walls. You can axe him. I think Chunk's gonna probably die up here, assuming if he just dies and doesn't regenerate. Then he could get on like all his fours and go fast. This is probably like the first boss of the game. Dude, Leon's a fucking unit, bro. He just sacrificed his arm so his head is not like bitten off. Cause Chunk was about to take a chunk out of that dome. And then he just threw his arm up, dude. So crazy. So the yellow ladders and the yellow labels are back, which we talked about before. Chunk cannot climb, so he's a piece of shit. Give us some buckshot. And Chunk will become chunky. Like Prego, and there it is. His brain is exposed and he's dead. That looks like the easiest boss in the world, though. Goddamn. This is where girls was like literally ejaculating because they saw Leon open a goddamn cabinet. Again, women worked on this design. I'm not surprised. Here's some of the stealth mechanics. Yeah, we have a screamer enemy of all things. Yo, it just reminds me of one of those screamer chicks in Left 4 Dead. I don't know why the player doesn't melee. I would have done that ASAP. Oh no, you just choose the shotgun into it.
Sorry.
Cool. One thing I missed in one of my reactions is that there is antique coins, but someone told me that Leon cannot pick them up, but Grace can. I'm assuming the antique coins work similar to RE7, where you go and there's like a hub area where there's certain upgrades. So there might be like a stabilizer where you can run faster, or there's something where you can do more damage, or maybe there's like certain like scraps of books where you can pick them up and you do the art of defense. I'm assuming it's gonna be similar like that. And even though he blew off her fucking head, it's still a prompt near her legs. I'm wondering what that is in particular.
Short.
Obviously, corny one-liner. Cut your act short. Is there anything interesting here? Let's skim ahead. Oh yeah, Leon finds a compensator for the alligator snapper, which is the registered gun that is given out officially to DSO members, the handgun. You get auto sort, which is nice because I'm not one of those. I don't like fumbling in the inventory. I like it fast and easy. Okay. Why I'm one of those? Oh, I gotta talk about the controversial cutscene. So I'm gonna let it play out. Oh shit! If you look closely, you can damn sure tell those hands are fucked up, dude.
Code 6, all staff initiate emergency protocols.
Mr. Kennedy, we need to leave immediately.
What's going on?
I don't know what's happening. Some kind of mass hysteria. The hospital is on lockdown. Doctor.
Oh, all right. This is the controversial cutscene that people were debating about, where Leon allowed this nurse to be killed as opposed to dumping rounds into this doctor who pulled out this chainsaw. The gun was out, and then boom, she gets killed. Okay. I'm gonna be honest. There's two sides of my brain on this cutscene. I understand where people are coming from. How could your heroic veteran survivor let an innocent person die right in front of him when he could have taken a bead, shot him in the fucking head? I understand the frustration from people who don't like this cutscene. I get it entirely. You are not wrong. Your opinion on this matter is valid, and I get it. And if this is the final cutscene, I will agree with you. But, and there's always a but, and I know you don't like that. I know people don't like it. There's always a but, this might not be the final cutscene. That's number one. You have to take that into account and possibilities. They have been altering footage, which was confirmed when they have misdirects and red herrings and shit like that all over the gameplay. The cutscene with Gideon being cut up and the NDAs of Sherry, all that other stuff, they are trying to hide so much of it, and we don't know if this cutscene is a part of it. And the fourth one is, this part is potentially kind of dumb, but I'm gonna just throw it in there anyway. The woman probably Leon did not have a clear all the way shot, and in the nick of time, this happens in seconds, she was cut down, and you know, maybe the reaction time was off. I don't know. The fifth option is also kind of dumber, where Nakanishi said Leon's growing a little bit more colder to people being murdered, and that's kind of bullshit because you have a whole section in this game, gameplay wise, where you can save survivors when on the Renwood streets. So that one I don't agree with, but I'm throwing it in there as possible sort of defenses. What I'm going with is that since they've been cutting footage up so much to pieces with this game and how people are noticing it and how they're doing misdirects, red herrings, and all that other stuff, I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt and wait for the complete cutscenes. And if I see this lady like just grinded into oblivion, Leon's just still standing there, then I probably would criticize it just as much. Or I don't, you just can't give the weird excuse that, oh, Leon doesn't care because he's dying. I think he would care about civilian life. They have to convey that point a little bit better in the game. So, topsy-turvy, I believe he should have fired the bullet. It's not the first time that a protagonist let someone die. I mean, literally, when you play RE5 though, and let's be honest, I won't excuse it because it's still funny, but when you play RE5 and they walk into that villa and they are shoving the parasite down the person's mouth or whatever, Chris and Sheva, they just stand there for a while. They don't shoot or nothing. It just happens, and that guy eats a fucking plaga and gets infected. So, it could also be another number where it's like, they do this because they want to show dramatic deaths or dramatic infections, and it's just allowed to happen. It's another one that I don't really agree with. You know, if I was a survivor, if I was a hardened survivor, I would be popping caps immediately. If a hostile is confirmed to be there and in front of someone, I'm not gonna let that person die. I'm gonna try to save them. But this is kind of something that does happen in some of the games. It's a little bit infuriating, but. And then Leon's gonna aura farm, kick that chair. Oh, dodge on him, on him. I think I want a second opinion. Or it could be another case. Leon knows these people are all kind of bad. This is Gideon's place, and they're trying to kill him. I was like, I don't know how I feel about saving any of the people in here. maybe they can pull a file up real quick and be like, oh, they got a kill order on you, buddy. Like, oh, well, that changes things dramatically, but I don't know how they're gonna spin it. So we saw all this gameplay with, you know, doing some Jeet Kune Do, axe to the head. Just completely fucking up the zombies, dude. Environmental contextual kills, getting a chainsaw, slicing somebody in half. I just want to see this part real quick. Boom. Bang. All right, that's enough of that part. Let's go to the cutscene with him and Grace. This cutscene is so funny, just bam.
Hey, over here.
Can't fuck with me. You can't fuck with me. And that's one dead bum.
You okay?
Yeah. Thanks.
Leon Kennedy, DSO.
One cool thing that someone noticed here is that Grace is so mortified and terrified, that she gets Leon's faction wrong. It's the DSO, but she calls it the CSO.
CSO.
Yeah, I mean that's you're straight in the middle of hyperventilating after a creature almost killed you. So I don't think anyone would be in calm, rational, happy place except for Leon here, because he's dealt with this shit like 10 times over.
Grace, Ashcroft, FBI.
FBI. What are you doing here?
Someone kidnapped me.
Victor Gideon.
I don't know.
Well, we should leave.
Yep, that's Gideon right there next to the hag down the hallway. And you can see Leon has so much spatial awareness that he just automatically knows I'm being watched.
What does Victor want with you?
What? I,
Grace.
what do you
He
mean?
grabbed you for a reason.
Like, who was that down there?
Wait, you're DSO. That's the counter bioterrorism agency, right?
Take this.
And then he gives her a Requiem, which is a symbolic handgun. They say it has a significant meaning, which is why Leon is using it. People made some estimation that, oh, it's Claire's pistol. Bro, do you really think they're gonna kill a major survivor off screen? Really? Do you guys? I don't think they're gonna do it. I think maybe they'll do some random outbreak character that really. I'm sure. Like, I'm not saying that we don't care about these characters, but I just think they would rather choose them than the main cast.
You're sure?
You might need it.
But believe me when I say, yeah, people are going to die in this game. Of a lot of calibers, there's going to be death.
Now go. Get out of here.
I'll be fine. I hope.
And this is Grace's section in Rose Hill. I'm trying to see if there's anything notable here to point out outside of Grace does have melee attacks. I know someone tried to tell me that she doesn't, but she has melee moves where she could do like a kick. You stun someone, you kick them away, and you could also do the stealth attacks we've seen the Butcher before. See the melee indicator. I first saw that when it popped up right there. You see on the left, you can do a melee attack to the Butcher when you stun him with the Requiem.
Jesus.
It doesn't seem like with her you get much ammo with it. They even said it's like a sort of a pitch hitter where you hit someone with it really quickly and you run away. This was said in the interviews where the zombies are going to be doing these remedial tasks all over the place, and they'll still do their jobs, but they're crazed and not well in the mind and obviously infected. Yeah, some of the same things with the little warrior guy in the elevator. This is a dinner table of fucking splatterheads. Holy shit. Oh, holy shit. Oh, you get a new handgun right there. It doesn't have a lot of power, but I hate that screaming bitch. I know I hate that bitch. I know I hate her. Oh. There is, like I said, Grace's section mostly plays like Resident Evil Remake 2. You can use knives to sort of defense item, keep them off you, bottles. probably better to run in this situation or use the Requiem on the screamer. Hey, look how annoying she is, dude. She grabbed the player twice. Yeah, you collect the blood and then you can do the zombie injectors. All right, let's move ahead. Yeah, right here. Oh. Oh.
Effective.
Oh, there's a yeah, there's a bar just like RE2 with the knife. See it in action, the gore right to the fucking eyeball. Right in the fucking eyeball. I think that's it mostly. You see Chunk again. And you mostly just run away from him. I think that's it. They show the trailer again. So that's gonna be it for me for this reaction. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the breakdown of everything involving Resident Evil Requiem thus far that I missed. The fourth trailer, new gameplay, so what I could dig out and everything. And some of the theories that were very fascinating and interesting. This game is 2 weeks away. So I will say this is going to be my final coverage of this game. I did various podcasts. I covered as much news as I could when it came out. I bought up as much as I could. This is the final stretch of the game, and I could not be happier to get to this point. I cannot wait to play this game. I cannot wait to do playthroughs, run-throughs, theories, assessments, analysis, fucking podcasts on it. It's gonna be the whole 9 yards. And once again, thank you so much for joining me on this entire journey of talking about RE9. Like, I've talked about everything, rumors, fucking when they talked about the coven and the witches and everything. I was there, man. I was there day one, speaking about that stuff, just like Village, just like Village. Feels so good to be alive as a Resident Evil fan, and it's good to share that with many people. So it makes me all teary-eyed and stuff like that, man. To be like, we're almost at the end game, but 2 weeks left and Requiem will be in our hands. I cannot wait to talk about this game to you guys. So I will see you guys next time. Later.